10 classic cars most people have forgotten about. In the annals of automotive history, plenty of brilliant models get overlooked and disregarded after so many years. Below, we list some of our favorite classic cars that most people have forgotten about, but are worthy of remembering. First, Mitsubishi Starion. While Mitsubishi may not be a car brand known for creating classic and iconic cars, many of its models, like the Mitsubishi Starion, are valuable and noteworthy. Mitsubishi made the Starion to rival the Toyota Supra and Porsche 924 and featured a unique style that helped it stand out in the competitive market. The Starion featured a 2-liter Ford G65 engine with 175 horsepower, allowing it to reach a top speed of 133 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 7 seconds. Of historical note, the Starion was also the first production car to employ ABS. While it may not be as memorable as other models, this Mitsubishi was a fun and exciting car to drive that could go toe-to-toe with more heralded vehicles of its time. Second, Maserati Biturbo. In the chronicle of the fantastic supercars that Maserati has produced over its long and prosperous life, the Biturbo is too often subjected to being a footnote in the fabled carmaker's history. That's a shame because not only was the Biturbo a cool and stylish car, but it can claim to be the first production car to use a twin-turbocharged engine. The Biturbo came shortly off the heels of the widely successful Maserati Merak and is often overshadowed by the more successful Merak. The Biturbo was Maserati's attempt at breaking into the middle-class market, so it's an excellent classic car for those who want a Maserati at a more affordable price. Third, GMC Cyclone. It's easy to forget about GMC's experiment with high-speed trucks because they didn't make many. The GMC Cyclone was only in production for a year, and only approximately 2,300 were ever made, but those who drove them loved them. The unique look and performance of the GMC Cyclone have made it a gem for many classic truck fans, and in 1991, it held the title of the quickest production truck on the market. With a 4.3-liter V6 engine and 0 to 60 miles per hour time of just 4.3 seconds, the Cyclone is an intriguing chapter in GMC's truck history. Fourth, Oldsmobile Cutlass. Not many people today remember the popularity of this Oldsmobile model, but ask anyone who was around during its heyday, and they'll tell you this car was everywhere. The Cutlass was Oldsmobile's entry-level car, so its affordability, reliability, power, and reputation made it a success for middle-class drivers. As Oldsmobile lost its market share to imports, drivers viewed the Cutlass and other models as giant dinosaurs. It was mostly forgotten when the famed American automaker shut down for good in 2004. But this classy Oldsmobile is a vintage car worth remembering. Piatti Ford Falcon. When people think of Ford and classic cars, they typically think of the timeless first-generation F-Series trucks or the iconic Mustang. Still, one classic Ford car that most people have forgotten about is the Falcon. The Falcon was the first compact car from America's Big Three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, auto manufacturers, and was a hit among American drivers. The small sedan featured an impressive design that is still awe-inspiring to this day. While many got produced and sold, the Falcon died out in 1970 due to numerous factors. And since it's not a high-powered muscle car or truck, it is too often forgotten about in Ford's storied history. Six, Porsche 914. Like the Ford Falcon, the Porsche 914 is often overshadowed by other more popular and prominent vehicles from its celebrated manufacturer's long history. But the funky-looking Porsche 914 stands out in the history of Porsche with its distinctive aesthetic and excellent drivability. Many drivers didn't know what to make of the Porsche 914 when it debuted in 1969, as it looked closer to a British roadster than the iconic Porsche. But, like other Porsches, the 914 features a small engine but a light body that produces an exceptionally fun car to drive with its superb acceleration and control. 7. Mercury Bobcat. Mercury is another American car brand that has closed its doors, but in its zenith, it sported two popular vehicles, the Pinto and its twin sister model, the Bobcat. The more common Pinto largely overshadows the Bobcat, but it sold well as a luxurious version of the practical Pinto. The Bobcat was affordable and small, but featured a distinctive, revered design. It can get lost in the shuffle of the many popular luxury coupes of the 70s, but the Bobcat is still an enjoyable classic car. A Nile Caddick Triumph Dolomite. In the 70s, the Triumph Dolomite was a hit in Europe and Australia, but it never really made its way stateside in considerable numbers, so it is often forgotten about. But in its prime, the Dolomite was the quintessential rear-wheel drive sports sedan, with a punchy engine and light body. Over 200,000 of the Dolomite got made, but very few quality models of the slick Sportster remain today. And it's even harder to find a quality model of this British car in the States. Kiminen Pontiac Solstice. While the American car maker has since shuttered its doors, many iconic cars have come from Pontiac, like the GTO, but one underrated classic model is the Solstice. The Pontiac Solstice is relatively newer than other Pontiac classics, but when it debuted in 2004, it was an immediate hit with American drivers. Considered the American alternative to the Miata, the Solstice was a slick and fun two-seater convertible with plenty of muscle under its hood and punchy acceleration. When it arrived, the Solstice was a hit, but couldn't save Pontiac. But don't overlook this coupe when considering two-seater classics. 10. Subaru SVX. Lastly, when drivers think of Subaru, they typically think of budget and family-friendly wagons, crossovers, or maybe even off-road rally cars. But Subaru isn't a one-trick pony, and in the early 90s they tried their hand at the high-priced sports car market with the SVX. The SVX was Subaru's first-ever six-cylinder engine, packed 230 horsepower underneath its hood, and was one of the fastest cars available. The two-tone color scheme of SVX makes it unique, and it sold pretty well over its production life, but car fans consider it one of the rare and forgotten classic foreign sports cars. At Ideal Classic Cars, we have all kinds of custom vintage cars for sale online and in our showroom in Venice, Florida. Please stop by our showroom or browse our inventory online to find your next classic car.